Peace, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to what we'll call episode 2 of the Becoming a Confederation channel series. So before we get into it, I remember last talk I was speaking more about the internal parameters to consider before considering to become a channeler, really of any kind, but specifically to becoming an instrument of the Confederation of Planets. Now, there are some external parameters, configurations that one should have, or in this case, should not have, if they're going to begin the faculty of vocal channeling in this way. Ideally, you should have a healthy physical body. I say that because the faculty of vocal channeling involves, and I repeat this, the engagement with another entity's intelligence, and in particular with the Confederation, you're involving yourself with social memory complexes. And so these are the consciousnesses of entire civilizations. For example, Ra is comprised of 6 million different entities who fuse their consciousness. And so you're engaging with your one frame of awareness of this incarnation with an entire conglomerate of consciousnesses that have amassed into one functioning heart mind. And that can be very intense. So I would say ensure that you're not battling any consistent debilitating illnesses or any chronic diseases. If you are, it's not advised to begin the process of channeling with the Confederation entities, with the civilizations under the Confederation, or really any outside our three-dimensional layer, any beings beyond that, for your safety, with the exception that your conditions are under control and you're not always in a pain state or a state where you're at any time could end up in the emergency room, like you have surprise flare-ups and things of that nature. This goes for physical and neurological. So if you have any debilitating psychological conditions, depression, bipolar, antisocial personality disorder, schizophrenia, any of these kind of ongoing conditions, trying to fuse your consciousness with an external consciousness from a different density and dimension is not advised. Until those conditions are under control and balanced with the assistance of medical professionals or whatever manner you personally address that with, then you should not consider channeling extra-dimensional beings for your own safety and for the sake of balance. Now, I know that 99% of the other selves who come here don't fall within those categories, but I do feel it's a responsibility to put that out there so that for the 1 in a million that does come to this talk and is dealing with those and trying to push themselves towards this path, I don't want there to be any issues with that. So for the safety of the brothers and sisters, I just put those out there. So those are the external parameters. If you are in normal health, physically speaking, and you are in normal health, mentally speaking, there's nothing going on there, then you're fine. And then just the consideration of those internal parameters. Okay, so when the external and the internal configurations are good, we can move on. Now, I want to bring up the general kind of routine that you might want to start now. This is, consider it your preparatory process for awakening and attuning to the Confederation of Planets vibration. And when I say vibration, I'm referring to a neurological identifier that is registered as kinesthetic oscillations. So it is an identifier logged into the brain electrically, and it's registered as a muscular electromagnetic oscillation. It's perceived as both simultaneously, and this can be for a being, a place, a situation, or object. So that's what I mean when I talk about vibration. And what I'll say is that every being within the Confederation, all 500 of those civilizations, they have a vibration, meaning when you come in contact with them, with the totality of their awareness, there will be an identifier that you will feel in mind, body, and spirit, and you can use that to know them, to get to know them, and to reach out to them again. So their vibration will kind of be like their name. They have names for us that they give, but in their own space of existence, names aren't needed. They have a vibration. We have a vibration. So you'll get to know their vibrations. Each social memory complex, I'm sure you're familiar with the name Ra, Latos, Latui, Yam, Yada, Telan, Oxal, Hatan, all of these lovely social memory complexes. They each have their own vibration, and you will get to know it, and that's part of how you connect with them. And the way to begin doing that, just the simplest way, is to have daily exposure to their words. Within their words are encoded the vibration. And as you read their materials, as you read their messages of light, love, love, light, you'll begin to pick it up. It's a feeling in the heart, a feeling in the solar plexus, manifests in the crown, in the third eye center, and in the higher heart center. You may feel it all over the body, but you'll be able to, like a computer, log these vibrations and tune back into them. And you actually harmonize with this during the vocal channeling experience. And that's been my experience personally. So for a routine, exposure to all forms and facets of Confederation materials is key. Just like you aren't going to know someone simply by looking at a picture of their face, you have to talk to them, and then not just talk to them, but talk to them in a way that you learn about them. In the same way, exposure to Confederation materials will help you identify their vibrations, what it should feel like in the energy body, in the spiritual body, in the mental and physical body. I put this in the welcome video, the first video you see when you come to the channel. You'll see me scroll all the way down to a page, and you'll see these are books. And one of them is called Living the Law of One, and this is by Carla. There is an audiobook version for busy seekers like myself. We don't have that time anymore to read a book, hold a book in hand and turn the pages, which is so nice. But there is an audiobook. It's called Living the Law of One. I would definitely, if you haven't already, listen to that in the car or in the shower, whenever you can. It's on Audible. And what I love about Living the Law of One is that it does begin to encapsulate the more practical and universal aspects of working with the Confederation, of being a light love instrument, of serving the one infinite creator, and of what it means to declare the law of one in your everyday life in your own special way. One of the things that helps with connecting to these extra dimensional beings is to align with their vibration. And their vibration is living the law of one to a very high degree. And it helps when we try to meet them where they are by living the law of one. And more than that, it's the natural state of our beings to be as the one infinite creator, in light, in love, and in service to others. So definitely Living the Law of One 101, availing yourself of that audio or physical book a little bit each day is going to help with integrating into your daily life these practices, because you want to set up your psychology and your emotional body to a state that is conducive to being in connection with an extra dimensional whose frames of understanding and being are a lot different than ours in the 3D. And you'll find that there's a whole lot of different benefits to living the law of one. The synchronicities, the abundance, the health, the healing, the joy, the laughter, it all comes flowing in. Yes, more catalyst, but that's just to help you to refine the channel, and you still have no end of that light, love, and support. And they're very hands-on. So you will get to a point where you perceive their awareness in full, even in your everyday life. And it's such a beautiful, special moment for these extra dimensional civilizations to not find it robbery, to come down and be with you where you are, extending their light love and love light to you and to all that are around you. So it's an act of service to bring these very high density beings down to earth, so to speak, and ground their message so that it's palatable as well as their energies. It's a very beautiful and wonderful thing I'm grateful for. Just have to say, they want to be with you in your everyday life. That is their new level of mission, to integrate more with the 3D awareness of humanity, to meet us where we are as we have been trying to meet them where they are. And that's a point of evolution for them as well. So Living the Law of One by Carla Rucker, check that out. And then you'll see in the welcome video, I went to loresearch.org and I went to a section called the Conscious Channeling Library. And in that, the amazing, beautiful, wonderful, angelic LO Research team has put up transcriptions of the channelings, vocal channelings from the 1970s all the way on up till now. Bless their hearts. Bless them 1,000 times. So grateful for all of the work that they do. It's truly a gift. And so I would go into the conscious channeling log, start from the 1970s, and read through the transcripts. You don't have to go and read like 10 in one day, but you can read a little bit at each time. And it's through reading these, through following the energetic cosmology of this endeavor as it was and is unfolding, that you begin to learn the vibration. You're reading so that you can learn the vibration. And that, along with Living the Law of One, I would suggest, if you haven't already, including a rereading or re-listening of the raw contact. Raw has a vibration as well, and so you can attune to that. And I'm being a little bit vague about what happens when you begin to learn their vibrations, when you begin to perceive extrasensory, with your extrasensory senses, their vibration and what that opens you up to. But I will say that it is unique, it is positive, and it is always a thing of love, of joy, of healing, and of support. Everyone's experience, according to the configuration of their energy centers, will dictate a different experience there. And then, on top of reading Living the Law of One, to further facilitate living the Law of One, and reading from the Conscious Channeling Library each day to learn about the vibrations, and reading or listening to the raw contact. On top of that, I would spend at least 10 minutes a day in quiet meditation. No guided meditations, no singing bowls, no chanting throughout it. Initially, you can do music or a guide to get you in the receptive state. But after that initial point, at least 10 minutes of silence. Be calm, not forcing anything, just this 10-minute stretch of calm, peaceful, not doing anything, not hearing anything meditation. This is going to help when we get into our next talk about conditioning and in meditation with Confederation beings. The benefit, I would say, of being calm and quiet, not forcing anything, is to help when you begin to vocal channel, because conscious vocal channeling is not something foreign. You aren't going to feel completely overcome and go unconscious. You'll be aware of everything, and you might be in a slightly altered state of awareness. You'll definitely be in an altered state of awareness, but still aware. And the habit that can arise from connecting with the extra-dimensional mind, that being or beings, because these are collectives of beings, transmitting their message of light love through your light love body, and it coming out of your energy center, out of your vocal channel, there is a propensity for the conscious mind to want to analyze what's being said, What are they going to say next? Will another word come? Am I going to suddenly stop speaking? And all these other very normal 3D questions and analyzings to have. This is a faculty, a natural faculty, trying to analyze that will be more intense if you haven't been practicing of just being calm, being quiet, and not having any other things going on, no other sounds and stimuluses. If you can be calm and you can be quiet and still and be relaxed, this will make the receiving and your projection of the words flow, because they should flow easily, without struggle, without strain. I mention inner child in the title here, and I do that because having that child's mind, that child's heart with this process is so key. These light, energy, advanced civilizations, when they're coming through, there isn't any real obstacle or thing that we have to do in order for them to do what they do. It doesn't require us to structure the words so that they sound a certain way. They don't need us to formulate concepts for them or make them palatable. By the very act of them sending the energy and the words on the energy through us, they come out as they should. I love social memory complex Latui's physical 3D example of this. They said, in the same way that when you're playing catch, someone throws you the ball and you just catch it, that is the way that vocal channeling, conscious vocal channeling should go. You aren't thinking about, okay, now I will think about how I should raise my hands and hold my fingers out and crouch and catch the ball. You just catch it. In the same way, you'll just allow your body of light love to connect with theirs, the totality of theirs, and then you'll just be transmitting. Now, there will be an acknowledgement of the information coming through. You will be having a lot of physical, energetic experiences, even if you're not consciously aware of them, and emotional ones as well. But it will be a very natural process. So if you approach this with an open heart, like an excited kid who's just there to catch the ball and pass it along, things will be so much easier. The child isn't worried about what's coming next. They're just in the moment. Their hearts are open. They're without fear. They're all love, all joy, all light. And extra dimensional beings enjoy that vibration. They're attracted to that. And this doesn't just go for those civilizations under the Confederation of Planets. This goes for any of our stellar civilizations working with Earth at this time. They're very attracted to the vibration of the child's heart, the child's mind, which is open, free, excited, not afraid to come close and draw near, not overanalyzing, not thinking too much, not trying to make it sound good or look good, not worrying if they're doing it wrong, but just following the open heart. And that's something that actually, I find of benefit to be in everyday life. It may seem counterproductive or counterintuitive to have the child's heart in this society and the way things are today, but it actually has been such a source of healing and has brought so much abundance and love and support from the 3D space itself, from our other selves, our brothers and sisters on the ground who may not have made the choice yet. So the child's heart is a gift everywhere. It's an asset everywhere, and definitely worth cultivating. Hand in hand with joy, which is another talk that we'll have at a different time. Okay, so we're reading Living the Law of One. We're reading from the Conscious Channeling Library. We're reading or listening to the Law of One. We're having those portions of 10 minutes of quiet meditation, being calm and tapping into the inner child. That's what that's for. From today, you can begin this, and we'll call it your ET contact routine. The exposure is going to allow you to learn the vibrations. It's going to open you up to being of greater affinity for the Confederation of Planets entities, those aligned with that. And in general, you'll find it brings a sense of balance and healing and love and joy and synchronicities simply by aligning with the way of love or the Law of One. Now, next time we will go into conditioning. And conditioning is a more practical side of things, and it involves the assistance of beings of the Confederation of Planets sending a signal, we'll call it, that aids you in meditation and that aligns and configures your spiritual energy body, we'll call it, into greater alignment and awakening to receive messages from Confederation entities. That in itself is a whole other talk, but the takeaway from this, I would say, is to begin your contact routine as a Confederation channel. You don't have to do it every single day, the readings and the meditations, but just make it consistent. Consistency is key. If you do it every other day, if you do it, every 2 days or every 3 days, just as long as you're doing it regularly, you'll see great benefits, and it'll really help with you becoming a Confederation channel.